Now, one of the things that I want to bring to your attention is that, go with me to Philippians chapter 1 and verse 10. I want you to see this. I hope I'm not giving too much here because I want to try and keep it simple as far as possible. Now listen to this. Now let me just explain it because I don't want to have people miss anything. When you receive Christ, you've received the seed from the tree of life. But it's also very important that you understand the righteousness of Christ and how it works, the legal aspect of the righteousness of Christ. And it's also important to not only understand that and to hear the message of righteousness through Christ, but you need to understand that there is another kind of righteousness called the righteousness by the flesh or the righteousness by the law of Moses. Because if you don't understand it, you'll get confused with the two and you'll think you're busy with the one and meantime you're busy with the other one. And the one produces death and the other one produces life. Philippians chapter 1, I'm going to read from verse 10. So that you may discover, say discover. Say discover. The things that the things that are excellent, that you may be sincere and what? Blameless. Right. Say blameless. Blameless. So there's something you need to discover in order to be blameless. Amen. He didn't say there's something you need to do to be blameless. He said there's something you need to discover to be blameless. There's things you need to do in order to activate faith. In fact, there's a lot of things you need to do to activate faith. But when it comes to being blameless, there's something you need to discover. Amen. For the day of Christ, having been filled with the fruit of righteousness. So how do you get filled with fruit? You open the fridge and you eat the stuff. So when you want to be filled with the tree of life, you need to eat the fruit from the tree of life. You need to eat righteousness to be filled with righteousness. And on the inside of the seed, inside of the fruit is a seed. And that seed springs up and bears a harvest. And it grows in the ground, which is you. Now listen to the last bit of it. Having been filled with the fruit of righteousness, which comes through Jesus Christ. Amen. For the glory and praise of God. Amen? Amen. Now, I want to show you something, and we have an hour to go. I'm like, please don't. All right. Oh, Lord. You know, in John chapter 7, Jesus said something like this. He said, rivers of living water shall flow from where? The inside of you. The inside of you. And now you go, so how is the seed of God on the inside of me? And now I have the rivers of life on the inside of me. And then in the next verse there, he says this. He says, and there he was speaking of the Spirit which was yet to be poured out. So that tells me something. When God speaks in Genesis chapter 2 about the tree of life, in fact, we'll back up a little bit, but he says this in, I believe, verse 8, chapter 2, verse 8 of Genesis. He says, and he sent out a river to water the garden. In other words, he was talking about the two trees. And then he says, by the tree, there is a river that comes out that waters the whole garden. And then it splits up and it becomes 4 heads and then there's 4 rivers coming out of it and all that kind of thing. So in other words, the river of life flows right in the vicinity of the tree of life. But there's something interesting. Go with me to Revelation and chapter 22. Amen. He is, let me use the other Bible, forgive me. He is the what? Alpha and the? He is the beginning and the? So, where did you see the first mention of the tree of life? Genesis chapter 2. Where do you see the last mention of the tree of life? Revelation chapter 22. Is that correct? My. Now, let's read. And he showed me a river, chapter 22 and verse 1. He showed me a river of the water of, but John 7 says that river will be where?
In you. Yeah.
So when you eat the seed from the tree of life, where is that seed?
In you. Amen.
Clear as crystal, coming from the what? From the throne of God and from the Lamb. What's the Lamb? If you read, it's Jesus Christ crucified.
Amen.
What is that? That is the tree of life. In the middle of the street on either side. Now, you need to read what it's, you need to use your imagination here a little bit. In the middle of its street, and then it says on the next sentence, on either side of the river was the tree of life. He didn't say on both sides. He didn't say there were two trees. The tree covers the street. In other words, the river of life comes from the tree. So the tree extends from the one side to the other side, to the opposite end. And in the middle of it is what? The river, the street, the river of life. That tells me that the Spirit of God will only flow when the tree of life is acknowledged. As long as the tree of life is not acknowledged, there will always be a battle, and the river of life, the Spirit of God, will not flow. Why? Because God's Spirit is God. And God needs His nature in you, His righteousness in you, in order to flow through you.